So this is basically reiterating what I just had in a previous video, but I'm doing it slower. Because I get a lot of questions in specifically the part that's being highlighted right now, because you're used to having it include .h's, .cpp's, or really .cpp's, because you're expecting the CPP to then go ahead and include the .h, which it does here. Makes sense, right? So a lot of people are looking at, well, wait a minute, how the heck does including .h work with this? Because that doesn't make sense. It makes sense. It means that you're skipping over the CPP. The only reason why we're not skipping the CPP on this is because of literally what we have down here. It's because of two things. Actually, there should be another line that's going to pop up underneath of this, and that's the airplane.o that we need to compile as well. And the airplane.o, notice that's going to compile the CPP, which then will include the .h and shove it all into airplane.o. Shoves it all together. So when we're actually ready to compile the whole thing, this is both the .h and CPP, and this is the driver. Duh. So we go ahead and merge them together to get our output.out. So we're not skipping the CPP, even though it looks like it. I know, it looks like it, but that's the only reason why is because of the Makefile actually has it done and included with it. Now, why do this? And again, with large projects, pretend airplane is 1 million lines long and boat that I mentioned in the previous video is 2 million lines long. Imagine compiling that. It's going to take a little while. But if we only made changes to airplane, then frankly, shouldn't we just compile that? And that's why we have it this way, is because we'll have the Makefile do the compile, not just have everybody dependent on one another. So pretend again if we had boat, we would have, and you're going to see a couple things pop up here, boat would be involved in there would be a boat.o, but also at the very end, specifically this line, boat would also be in there as well, because we're finally merging all of the objects together so that it can compile completely with all the linking and objects and then print out our output, or at least a running program or executable from there. So that's how this works out with siloing objects when using Makefiles. It's a new feature that we've really never explored before. For those of you that are graphical, like I am, I'm hoping that this chart will make also the same sense as what we had from previous. Is again, we really need to design it out first. Meaning, literally the silos that are being highlighted right now, there's going to be a silo for airplane, there's going to be a silo for driver, and when they finally get merged together at the very end, we'll have our output at the very top. Again, if I had boat, you're going to see lines start showing up here. Boat would have its .h, boat would have its own CPP, boat would have its own object, and then finally get merged at the very end. But notice that driver also would now have another include to the header file of boat. Because inside the header file, inside the Makefile, we would have to make sure that we have a boat.o and that it's compiled by using the boat.cpp, which includes the .h of boat, boat.h. Too many names. But see, even me fumbling with that, I want to make sure you understand that's why we're having this pattern and set up, because if we get so many damn files in there, we're going to have issues with that. Let the Makefile take care of it, but also use this pattern that we have it with sharing and figuring out which ones are dependent. This pattern is going to stay the same. It just might have more silos in it, but that's about it.